Oh man, I'm Vinegard? I wanted to be Root Forged. Wait, hold up. Is this you? Did you get assigned to a team that you didn't want? What if I told you that the reason why is all because of arithmetic? Yeah, there's another reason just to hate on math. We'll be discussing the specific numerical pattern called the arithmetic sequence. You've probably seen it before, even if you don't know the name of it. For this example on the board, we see a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Although these numbers are all even numbers, the sequence comes from the difference between each sequential number. For example, to get to 2 from 0, we add 2. And to go from 4 to 6, we add 2 as well. Arithmetic sequence refers to when this number down here, also known as the common difference, is either adding or subtracting the same number. The arithmetic sequence equation is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. All these different parts of this equation will make sense in just a minute, but first we need to address one thing. This is great and all, but why should we care about this when it comes to Rec Room? If you didn't know, every single player has a player ID. This number is assigned at your account's creation and will never change. Even when you change your @name, your account ID stays the same. What Rec Room did for the Harvest Nobles event was they took this formula and applied it to every single player and their account IDs to split up every single player in the game evenly into 3 separate teams. In order to understand this formula, let's break it up piece by piece and figure it out all individually. A sub n is your player account ID number. A sub 1 is going to be the starting number, or in this case we can call it the modifier or team number. N is your placement within the sequence. And D is the number of teams that are being used right now. Rather than writing it down on this whiteboard with my shaky handwriting, let's move over to Desmos, where you can see it easily on a calculator. Here in Desmos, we have the algorithmic sequence formula written out, and we're going to be solving for the ID number 70,062. But we need to figure out what each of these different parts of the equation will equal so that we can start actually doing some math. First up is a sub 1, and down here in my notes I've written out that a sub 1 is the team modifier. So 1 will equal Root Forged, 2 will equal Vinegard, and 3 will equal Unripened. This you actually learn through trial and error, figuring out which one is which. If you look, Coach will always be number 1, so whatever Coach is Root Forged. There's a second account that you'll always know is number 2, and that is the RecNet testing account. So for this equation, we're just going to put 1 as the a sub 1. If it turns out that the account number 70,062 is not in Root Forged, then this equation will not balance out, and all we have to do is change this number to 2 and 3 and see which one balances the equation. Next up is n, and we don't know what n is, so I'll come back to this in a second. D is the number of teams that are being used, and since we know the number of teams, Root Forged, Vinegard, and Unripened, we can equal D to 3. I've gone ahead and rearranged this equation to solve for n. So as you can see, the a sub n is part of the equation, and this will equal out to the letter n. So all we have to do is plug in all these numbers down here into this equation and figure out what n is, and then we can put it back into this equation and see if it balances out. As you can see, this equation does not come out to a whole number. There is a decimal. To fix this, we change the team modifier, or a sub 1, until we get a whole number. As you can see, it's not Vinegard, and Unripened will come out with a whole number, which means that this account number is going to be Unripened. Now that we know what n equals, we can copy this number and place it in for n, and go back to our original equation, and it's not the same number as this. That's because the t modifier hasn't been updated. We can check again and go to 2, and this does not match up with this. So this account is most definitely going to be unripened. And we can check our work by looking at Agreeable Rabbit or guest account number 0007006293221. And this account is absolutely unripened. If you played Rec Room in early 2022, this is also how the League of Heroes event was organized. Valor was number 1, obviously. Defenders were 2nd, Masterminds were 3rd, and Amazings were 4th. All that would need to be changed for the formula is the common difference. D would become 4 instead of 3. Because of this, if Rec Room continues with these kinds of events that auto-assign you a team, they'll either increase the number of teams, or you'll be with the same players that you were with beforehand. Checking player IDs used to be much simpler. It involved something called Application Programming Interface, or API for short. I won't pretend to know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, but right now, most access points to this kind of information requires keys. There used to be a link that you could use to search players' @names to see their bio, profile picture image links, account creation date and time, player ID, and other information just like that. There was an inverse to this as well, where you could type the ID number and find an account that way. Both of these are closed to the public right now. The method that I used will likely be closed soon because I'm bringing attention to it. But the current method that works is through room IDs. If a player is an owner of a room, you can search the room by name and see the creator's ID number. If you want to see your account number, just publish a room and input your own room's name. This page is also useful for visits versus visitor count, so you can see how often players revisit your room, or if you have a high rate of new players joining. If you'd like to learn how I find account IDs useful, you can tune into my class shirts video that is coming out soon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the library, Rextorians.